get this all sorted out, and I'll let some people get in here, and once that's done, we'll get this show on the road. More than anything, God, it's been a while since I've actually done a live stream. Just wipe that down. Yeah, there is a fair bit to talk about, isn't there? But as said, I'll wait until like the 2-minute mark before I start, as I want to give people a chance to get in here. I'm also going to get my X up while I'm at it, and my YouTube, so I can post a couple of odds and sods while I'm waiting for all this. But I hope everyone is doing well. I'm hoping that the measures that I took in the past when I ended up getting doxxed, I'm hoping that the measures I've taken will prevent that shit from happening again. But we'll have to find out. But as I said, I hope everyone is doing well. Right, what was it? Ah, yes, I was going to load this up. Bear with me. What is this? Right, content. Actually, no, I need to be on my live one, don't I? Because that generally helps, doesn't it? I will also be linking in the description below in a moment. If I can get my bloody page up, that would be bloody splendid. It's always funny. I'm always having a bit more trouble trying to get onto my profile. Ah, there we go. When I'm on my PC. I don't know why. But I want to share this if I can. Where's the share icon and all this? But yeah, I've given a bit of time, so let's begin, shall we? So, Tommy Robinson. Tommy bloody Robinson. He is going to be a free man by the end of this week. And it's about fucking time. Frankly, he never should have been in there to begin with, as quite frankly, he never committed the contempt of court in the first place, since the film, Silenced, was already out in the public domain. But what I will do, since I can't seem to get this thing to share, hello Christine, hope you're well. What I'll do is I'll just copy the page that I'm on right now, and I will link that in the description, so you'll have to bear with me. That will be there. I have actually put on there the Silence documentary that I've retweeted, because I think it is important that we all download it. I think it's important that we all share it, because as I've said before, they've said nothing about us sharing it. They've only said that Tommy Robinson can't share the Silence documentary, the one that has been seen 167 million times on his channel. They've said nothing about us doing it. So you know what I say? As long as we're not breaking the law, it's fair fucking game, quite frankly. And they deserve every bit of it. Now, I just need to do this real quick. And obviously, I'll update the description as and where needed. But Tommy Robinson, who has been sent down for the supposed contempt of court. Hello, Martin. Is it me, or is maybe the chat delayed? Maybe that's why I've not seen that as soon as I should. But basically, the way I look at it is he was sent down for a crime that he effectively never committed, because the Silence documentary was already out in the public domain by the Americans. They're the ones who released it. Hello, Samir. Hope you're well. So effectively, Tommy Robinson didn't break any contempt of court because it was all in the public domain. If anybody recalls what happened in Leeds Crown Court with that grooming gang that came out and was effectively found guilty, and Tommy was there asking, how do you feel about your verdict? And basically they were already in the sentencing stage. Everything quoted during that time as well, everything was in the public domain. And yet the police and our justice system decided to arrest him anyway. Is anybody really surprised though? After all, this is Tommy Robinson we're talking about. AI, read the chat. No, I can't, I'm afraid. I prefer to leave AI out of my stuff. I don't like using AI, quite frankly. So I'm afraid I can't do that. But I hope you're well, Zena. But back to the point. Tommy Robinson is going to have to wait until Friday because that's what our judges have ruled, I guess. The two-tier justice system at its finest. Meanwhile, you can be a person like Ricky Jones who says that we need to cut all the throats of the far-right fascists and you won't even spend a single day in fucking jail. And speaking of jail, we also need to discuss another person who is currently denied their appeal, known as Lucy Connoly, who ended up getting 31 months in prison for a now deleted tweet that effectively said, burn the hotels for all I care. Now, was it said impulsively? Oh, yes, it was, 100%. Would I personally disagree with saying it? I would personally disagree with the bit about burning the hotels, because obviously I don't want to condone people breaking the law. However, should she be spending 31 months in jail for a tweet? No. Of course, the devil's advocate of this is she has technically incited violence. That's probably the only thing you could argue as far as that tweet is concerned, because obviously you can't go around inciting violence and all that. But even then, as I said, I think for a tweet, it's just fundamentally wrong. And nice to see you as well, Lucy B. I hope you will. I think Lucy should already have been released, because what you have to bear in mind is, as I said, Ricky Jones made a threat inciting violence against all the far right, and I think there'd be far more of them than there are of these hotels and what have you. And what about Mike Amesbury, who assaulted his constituents, who has had his trial suspended until August, and I suspect what will happen is the can will get kicked down the road and we'll hear nothing about it. And Hines will come along collecting the can again. Anyway, we won't hear anything about Mike Amesbury as far as him going to court is concerned, because we know we live in a two-tier policing society and a two-tier justice system. We know all too well that there are people who should be going to jail and should be having the book thrown at them, but unfortunately, because of our soft justice system, and of course, more importantly, Keir the traitor Starmer, these guys get out as much justice in this country as I have had salads in my life. The way I look at it is all these paedophiles, all these nonces, all of these illegal immigrants that have come over, or foreign nationals that have come over to commit crime, why hasn't the book been thrown at them? Who's more important? Your indigenous population who elected you into power, who expect you to enact the will of the British people, or English people if you prefer, or a bunch of people from third world shitholes who are completely intolerant of our society and think it's perfectly okay to go around raping girls. That's the way I look at it. Yeah, the oligarchs are collapsing rapidly. I do agree with that, Stuart. I think the oligarchy is shitting themselves at the mere idea that someone like Tommy Robinson can have millions of follows, and one video gets far more views than the entire mainstream media could combined in their entire lifetimes. That's the thing. Tommy Robinson is a symbol. He is a symbol of fighting the oligarchy, fighting the establishment. But we mustn't forget people like Lucy Connoly or Peter Lynch, God rest his soul, who ended up giving his life because some police were a bit too sensitive for the criticisms that Peter Lynch threw, in that he effectively said the police were going out of their way to protect the people who were coming over to this country, violating and raping our girls. That's really why he got sentenced. It wasn't because he was a rioter, like Eustace Ann Widdecombe tried to say. He was not a rioter. He was a protester, you could say, but he was not a rioter by any stretch of the imagination. And I think we need to hold more of these people to account when they start libelously slandering the Indigenous people. The way I see it, the way that Rupert Lowe was treated was completely reprehensible. And what it really boils down to is there was maybe one comment of people calling him demented, people thinking that he had dementia, when they knew full well that wasn't the case. The way I see it is our justice system and King the traitor Starmer have a lot to answer for as far as what's happened in this country is concerned. We cannot allow this miscarriage of justice to continue. We cannot allow a person like Tommy Robinson, whose only crime was exposing the government, to be forced to spend 7 months in solitary confinement just because our establishment don't want the truth getting out. More on this. I find it even more chilling that there are people, whether it's on MSN, whether it's on Twitter, whether it's on YouTube or whatever, the NPCs, if you will, who will come out and say, oh, he deserved it. Oh, he's a criminal. Oh, he's a thug. Oh, look at his background. Oh, look at his criminal record. Have you seen half the shit that the people in the Houses of Treachery, I mean Parliament, or maybe I was right first time, have you seen half the shit they've done? People like Simon Dunshuk, people like Dan Norris, people like Keir the traitor Starmer, people like Boris Johnson, people like David the Man Cameron, people like Tony the War Criminal Blair. Have you seen what they've done? I think their crimes are a little bit more important, especially Tony the War Criminal, who ended up committing war crimes by effectively going into Iraq under a false pretense of WMDs. And he sent hundreds, thousands of soldiers to their deaths. But of course, the mainstream media won't tell you this. You know the jokes, because say it with me, it doesn't suit the narrative. But we're supposed to all sit here and think it's perfectly acceptable to call Tommy Robinson a thug and compare his criminal record to those who basically are in Parliament. If they want to play that game, I can tell you right now, you literally only need to mention Tony Blair and their argument goes out the window. Just like that. Just like how people keep saying, oh, this wasn't politically motivated. Why did the Attorney General get involved? Again, another argument out the window, just like that. A lot of these people, they don't think with the head on their shoulders. They think with the head between their legs. That's the way to look at it. But I've spoken enough about Tommy Robinson. I think what's happened to him, bottom line, is a complete injustice. 7 months in solitary confinement, even by EU's regulations, it's far too long. The limit is 14 days. Actually, one more thing, which I will point out, and it is important. I mention the ECHR. Some people mention the ECHR. And what do the left do? They're like, oh, they like to bring it up when it suits them. No, you can't use that argument against us. Because what is the first thing I usually do in most cases now, as far as the law's concerned? I bring up the UK's law first. The UK law says you can only hold someone in solitary confinement for 3 days. Yes, you are, Christine. You can only hold someone in there for 3 days according to UK law. It is the ECHR that the limit is 14 days. So even ECHR, or even vice versa, he still spent too long in solitary confinement without review. Another argument out the window. I don't say it because it suits me. I say it to put it all into fucking perspective. That's the way I look at it. I do it to put it into perspective. I don't know why it keeps coming up saying said hi as well. That's a bit weird. Maybe it's because it's been so long since I've had a stream and what have you, and it's just doing this, that, and the other. I don't know. But moving on, the Brexit deal. I did mention this in my last video, as obviously it's one of the most important things going on now, aside from Tommy Robinson. But there was something I did leave out that I actually didn't think of, which was what positive does this deal actually give? And here's a small spoiler. Fuck all. But what does this deal do? Well, we throw open our territorial waters for 12 years. We throw open our borders and basically allow the free movement of people. We start taking orders from the EU again. We have to pay into the EU, I suspect, because I tell you the one thing the EU absolutely fucking loved with us was the fact that we kept having to pay them £55 million a day gross for the privilege of having our balls kicked in, or your fairy cave kicked in if you're a woman. But they basically took the time and the liberty to say thanks for the money before delivering like a punch in the gut, or a kick in the balls, as it were. We get all that and all this. What's the one positive? We get a 0.3% increase to our economy. My seriously not amused face. How on earth can anybody think that this is a good deal? And yet the newspapers are going out that this is a win-win situation. No, it's not. Well, actually, yes, it is. It's a win-win deal as far as Keir the traitor Starmer and the European Union are concerned. That's the way I look at it. It's certainly not a win-win for the English people. Like, this gives us no benefit whatsoever. It completely decays our country. It effectively is like saying, if you get a 0.3% increase to your economy, we want to inject you with cancer. That's effectively what it is. And I am going to say it like that, because unlike a lot of people, and you say it with me, I'm not going to sugarcoat a fucking thing. I'm not going to mince my words. I'm going to say it exactly how it is, and I'll do my best not to bullshit you. What it boils down to, as far as this Brexit deal is concerned, is Keir the traitor Starmer is merely doing as he's asked by his WEF shill masters. He is doing everything he can to serve them and stick a middle finger up to the English people. He has no interest in serving the people he's supposed to be enacting the will of, and instead, all he wants is a little more of this and another crown on his head that says, I get to serve another term. See ya, cunts. Am I wrong? Like, Keir the traitor Starmer, I would not trust this man to run on the spot, let alone run this fucking country, quite frankly. This man has done more damage in this country, to our country, over the last 12 months than any other politicians or coalitions have done in the last 40 years. Keir the traitor Starmer will always be remembered as the worst Prime Minister in UK history, and he will be the single responsible politician that makes it so the nonce party, Labour Party, or again, maybe I was right first time, never get elected ever again. That's the way I look at it. And welcome on in, Tina. Hope you're all right. All right. All right, nearly had a stroke. Good Lord. But the way I see it, that man has done no good for us at all. And the way I see it, no shot he is going to last the full term of 4 years. He's made it one. He's made it one, and he'll be lucky if he sees it to 18 months. I think there's going to be a revolution before he serves that second year. And as I've always said, I don't want a revolution. I don't want civil war in this country. But as I've said many times before, the cold, bitter truth is that is the direction we're headed. Keir the Traitor Starmer has pulled down the mast and he's sailing full fucking speed in that direction with no care in the world. Why do you think I say that I don't think we're going to vote our way out of this one? He is effectively forcing us to have to defend ourselves. He is forcing us to have to make a tough decision. Sorry. He is forcing us to have to choose whether we have to defend our country by hook or by crook, or whether we allow Islam and Keir the Traitor Starmer to run this country into the ground. I would love to be able to say, I'm an MP right now and I'm going to do everything I fucking can for my constituency of Norwich. Unfortunately, I have now had to chase, I believe this is the third, if not fourth time, because someone had actually said they were going to personally post out a membership card 2 weeks ago. I have not heard anything since. Unfortunately, I don't think UKIP are to blame for this, and it would be unfair to blame them. I suspect what is happening is there's probably something happening during the posting process. I suspect what's happening is maybe they find out that I got a card in the post and they're effectively looking and they're like, oh, it's his membership card. Let's fucking get rid of that. And hello, Lodger, and hello, David. Hope you're both well. I do think there's something going on in the middle, though, because how else have I had 3 attempts to get my membership card, and it's been 2-3 fucking months, and I still haven't had my membership card? It makes no sense. I don't hear of anybody else having any trouble trying to get their membership card or getting a membership card from Reform. Why me? Now, it might just be that I haven't reached out to people and people haven't reached out to me and what have you, and I don't know the full picture. But what I do know is that I have chased this multiple times and I have still not heard anything since. And I would love to be able to do my job, but I can't do that if they do not provide me the tools to do so. So unfortunately, it does seem like I'm just going to have to ride this one out, quite frankly. Who said I'm riding an elephant? Shut up, you. But no, I have to wait this out, unfortunately, because at the end of the day, I do need to have that card in order to become a member of Parliament, what have you. It is one of those. You know what I think it is? As I said, I think it's the posting system, and I think they know how much I'm growing. I may not be like fucking 40, 50,000 subscribers, or like Paul Thorpe or Maya Toosey or Richard Inman with their hundreds of thousands of fucking subscribers and views and all that. But I am growing. At least I've grown more than what I had on my other channel. That cannot be argued against. No walking under the influence of Lucozade this time. Not when my fat ass is sitting on the chair. But it doesn't change the fact that this all stinks of shit to me. The other thing I was thinking of saying, but I don't want to go ahead with it because I don't know if it's true, is maybe Nick Tenconi has found out that I'm saying that there is going to end up being a revolution. And maybe I'm getting my card because of that. I don't know for a fact. it is speculation at this point, but it could be what's happening. But I cannot say for 100% definite that that is the case. And yes, Tina, we do need to fight for Lucy. I think I mentioned her a little bit earlier. But the fact that Lucy Connoly, as I said before, and I'll reiterate for those who have come in at a later time, the fact that Lucy Connoly has been sentenced to 31 months and all this on the back of a deleted tweet. She deleted the fucking thing within hours. She gets sentenced to 2.5 years in prison. But Ricky Jones threatens to cut the throats of the far right. He's not even been standing trial yet, let alone sentenced. We live... Actually, should I do the jingle? I feel like I should. I feel like I should be singing the theme, like I've done in some of my other videos. This is the two-tier policing society. We live in a two-tier justice society. You know, that kind of thing. Like, the way I see it is, I've actually put out a tweet as well, actually, which basically says, I am challenging people to make a patriotic theme tune out of the Italian Job theme that basically sums up this country in a nutshell. I would love for someone to get onto that shit, and I want people to share that far and fucking wide, because it would be so fitting. It is so fucking fitting just on the first 2 lines as it is. But what can you do? Can't always have nice things. God damn it. Well, actually, no, that's not true. I do have one good thing here. I actually made another tiffin yesterday. So... I love this fucking thing. I really do. Oh. That is fucking amazing. Oh, God. I have to be careful because you know what they say? A minute on the lips, a lifetime on the hips. And I've certainly got big enough ones of those. Oh, man alive. But the way I see it is we are on the verge of effectively the biggest betrayal in English history. If this deal is allowed to go ahead, then we are looking at revolution. I cannot see any other way this is going to end. 17.4 million people. I haven't had a stroke yet. Very nearly I did, but I haven't had a stroke yet. Don't talk it up, for fuck's sake. But I can't see 17.4 million people taking kindly to their vote basically made null and void. Like, it is the biggest insult of our time to effectively have a vote basically completely made irrelevant. And you know what? Where's Nigel El-Farage over this? Where's Nigel fucking Farage? Where's his outrage? Where is he? He should be standing on the top of his fucking castle, screaming at the top of his lungs. Why are you betraying the wishes of 17.4 million people? Why? If I was in Nigel Farage's shoes, I'd be walking straight into fucking 10 Downing Street and I'd be demanding an explanation on this. Because there is no shot I would be sitting there doing nothing while my Prime Minister decides, oh, I'm going to sell you lot downriver. I'm going to sell your liberties over to the unelected bureaucrats in Brussels who haven't signed off their accounts for at least 20 years, might even be 25 for all I fucking care. I'm going to sell all your liberties down to them just for a 0.3% increase and open borders so we get to import more people from their third world shitholes and we sell our territorial waters to those twats in Brussels. Like, there is no shot that I would be keeping my mouth shut over this. So Nigel needs to get his head out of his arse and effectively challenge this every fucking step of the way. Every step. If he truly is Mr. Brexit, he needs to prove it. Like, I'm not a fan of reform. People will know that because I think they've done too much libelous slander, lying, backstabbing, etc., etc. But you know what I will say in his favour? You know what I will say? He has got the perfect fucking subject to absolutely nail Keir the traitor Starmer to Jesus Christ's fucking cross. He has the perfect means of permanently ending Keir the traitor Starmer's career. All he needs to do is push that argument and Labour's going to lose the rest of their constituencies. Just like that. The people do not want the vote betrayed. And before anybody who thinks of coming along says, oh, but you see, Brexit was a disaster. Brexit did hit us so hard. Brexit did this. Brexit did that. Brexit did insert negative thing here. Thing is, the only reason Brexit was a colossal failure is because of the people running it. I will never stop saying that. The very people who basically led Brexit, they were all Ramonas. Every single one of them. Maybe not Boris, but that's about it. Everyone else in those houses of treachery, they didn't want us to leave the EU, and who could blame them? I mean, after all, the one thing that it did for the people in the oligarchy is they got a nice fat paycheck and a pension from the EU. So of course they didn't want to leave the EU because it effectively gave them so much extra cash that these fuckers don't even need. I mean, a lot of these people who are working as MPs right now, people will know full well that MPs get like 90,000 plus a fucking year, plus expenses, which I don't think they deserve. But they get 90,000 plus a year. Why the fuck would they need that as well? Like, that's not just greed. That's pure obsession with more power and wealth. And yeah, I do agree. I think this deal it's scaring our fishermen, and it is going to end up ending our ability to fish. Keir the traitor Starmer is not going to secure a better economy just from fishing alone. He's going to hemorrhage money from this. He is going to be hemorrhaging support on the back of this deal. And I ask those who voted Labour, is this what you wanted? Are you proud of this? Are you proud of the man that you elected? A lying sack of shit? I wonder. You can almost hear a pin drop with this silence. Keir the traitor Starmer must answer for all the damage he's done. And the nonce party, Labour Party, they need to pay for their complicity in this. Every single fucking one of them. Maybe not the ones who left the business because they couldn't stand his principles and what have you, but that's about it. Every other Labour member needs to be held to account through complicity, through omission. They are responsible for destroying this great nation. I accept that the Conservatives are also partially responsible for immigration. I accept that. But look what has happened over these last 10 months on the back of Keir the traitor Starmer, the granny harmer, the paedophile protector, and terrorist supporter. Look at what he's done. What I find funny, though, is I still think about, I'm sure I mentioned it in a post, I think. I mentioned how one of my family members, when I said, fuck the king, was saying, you better remove that video. No, I'm not. Because there is actually a law or a certain thing in place which you have the right to criticize the monarchy, as well as, obviously, freedom of speech. Hey, Steve. Long 10 months. Feels like 10 years. Feels like 10 decades for us. Anyway, the fact of the matter is, we also have to look at King Charles, who, I don't know if this is like a sick joke or something, but who, I'm sure people will remember Charles I and what happened to him when he decided to go on a big spending spree and basically spend all the taxpayer money on wars. Ding. The bottom line is, our whole establishment, the royalty, the traitorous establishment, the mainstream media, the two-tier police, the two-tier justice, all of the oligarchy, that is what they are. They seek our downfall. They want to replace the white working class with third world barbarians. They want to replace us because it's so much easier to deal with people who are barbarians and have an IQ lower than a mosque full of Islamists. You can't expect them to not want to replace us when they're so much easier to deal with. And the Indian trade deal, thank you for reminding me, even though you didn't actually mention the word India, the Indian trade deal as well. What's the purpose of that? Bring in cheap labor. 20% off for the employer who sets up his own company in our country. And then any employees that he wants to bring in, Indians only, if he wants a restaurant or whatever. Stroke number one. God fucking damn it, man. I was so close to ending this. Stroke number one. There you go. You got your fucking wish, Lucy. God. But basically, I've lost what I was going to say now. If they wanted to bring in the cheap labour, the second Indian, 40% off of national insurance and tax and all that shit. Where's ours? Where's our 40% off? Oh, that's right. We're white working class. We're not non-whites. We're not left-wingers. We're not Marxists. We're not globalists. We're not communists. We're not traitors. This is why I say that I don't think we're voting out of this one. And I do think that, I will look at the national strike as, I would say it's our last hope of a peaceful solution. Although that being said, they did say that they have a detailed plan of how they want to do this, of pretty robust actions. So I wonder what the next step is, the national strike, or in my case, stroke, is. I wonder what it's going to be if that fails. Are they going to end up downing tools and just saying, fuck it, we're not doing anything for you? Are they going to come up with a fighting force and try to overthrow the government? We don't know that. Obviously, I'm speculating here because I don't know what the plan is. But the fact that they mentioned it's a multi-step plan or multi-layered or whatever, and they say they've got lots of robust actions in there, I do think Keir the traitor Starmer needs to take this seriously. Now, if this is just in every single city centre, I mean, I think I can just about get my fat ass off my chair and go to the city centre. I think I can just about manage it. I think it's just about affordable as well. Maybe go in for like 240 or something. Oh, God. Who said I need the elephant again? Shut up, you. No, but I should be able to just about make it if that's the case. But obviously I don't know that, so I'll have to look into that a bit more. But this is why I say I think that we're not going to be able to vote our way out of it. I think we are going to end up in civil war or a violent revolution before we get to that stage. Of course, I don't want that to happen. I want it to be peaceful. I want there to be resolution at the end of this. But I think the cold, bitter truth is people like Richard Inman, Paul Thorpe, they need to get their heads out of their asses and realise that we're not going to be able to get a peaceful result. The world is not sunshine, lollipops, and rainbows. I accept they've done a lot for this country, more than I ever will, I suspect, and I'm not afraid to admit that. But they have to realise that you can't reason with someone who is effectively Adolf Hitler 2.0. You just can't. And I'm not afraid to say that. The only thing Keir the traitor Starmer hasn't got is one very obvious glaring thing about basically those concentration camps and what have you. Other than that, he is effectively our version of Adolf. I wonder how long it will take for the two-tier police to come for me next. But here's the thing. Under Article 10 of the Human Rights Act, I have every right to fucking say it. As long as I'm not promoting violence or terrorism. And I have actively said I do not condone a violent revolution. So what will they look to get me on? I hope it ends peacefully. But I suspect it'll end with war. That's, I think, what's going to end up happening. Thanks for watching, guys. And it's been a pleasure. And it looks like I haven't had any trouble with trolls at all, actually, which is kind of interesting. But, yeah, I wish you all a good morning, afternoon, or evening, wherever you are in the world. Thank you one last time for watching. And I will catch you all in the next one. Bye-bye for now.